Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I feel good today. Okay, I will start first. On this occasion, I will tell you about the future of cryptocurrency in 2019 and beyond. Cryptocurrency is a digital currency that is created and managed through the use of advanced encryption technique known as cryptography. Cryptocurrency made the leap from being an academic concept to virtual reality with the creation of Bitcoin in 2009. While Bitcoin attracted a growing following in subsequent years, it captured significant investor and media attention in April 2013, when it peaked at a record $266 per Bitcoin after surging tenfold in the preceding 2 months. Bitcoin sported a market value of over $2 billion at its peak, but a 50% plunge shortly thereafter sparked a raging debate about the future of cryptocurrency in general and Bitcoin in particular. So, will this alternative currency eventually supplant conventional currency and become as ubiquitous as dollars and euros someday? Or are cryptocurrency is a passing fad that will flame out before long? The answer lies with Bitcoin. The future of cryptocurrency. Some economic analysts predict a big change in crypto is forthcoming as institutional money enters the market. Moreover, there is the possibility that crypto will be floated on the Nasdaq, which would further and add credibility to blockchain and its use as an alternative to conventional currency. Some predict that all that crypto needs is a verified exchange-traded fund. An ETF will definitely make it easier for people to invest in Bitcoin, but there still needs to be the demand to what to invest in crypto, which may not automatically be generated with a fund. Understanding Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a decentralized currency that uses peer-to-peer technology, which enables all functions such as currency issuance, transaction processing, and verification to be carried out collectively by the network. While this decentralization renders Bitcoin free from government manipulation or interference, the flip side is that there is no central authority to ensure that things run smoothly or to back the value of a Bitcoin. Bitcoin are created digital through a mining process that requires powerful computers to solve complex algorithms and crunch numbers. They are currently created at the rate of 25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes and will be capped at 21 million, a level that is expected to be reached in 2140. This characteristic make Bitcoin fundamentally different from a fiat currency, which is backed by the full faith and credit of its government. Fiat currency issuance is a highly centralized activity supervised by a nation central bank. While the bank regulates the amount of currency issued in accordance with its monetary policy objective, there is theoretical no upper limit to the amount of such currency issuance. In addition, local currency deposits are generally insured against bank failure by a government body. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has no such support mechanics. The value of a Bitcoin is wholly dependent on what investors are willing to pay for it at a point in time. As well, if a Bitcoin exchange falls up, clients with Bitcoin balance have no recourse to get them back. Bitcoin future outlook. The future outlook for Bitcoin is the subject of much debate. While the financial media is proliferated by so-called crypto evangelists, Harvard University professor of economic and public policy Kenneth Rogoff suggests that the overwhelming sentiment among crypto advocates is that the total market capitalization of cryptocurrency could explode over the next 5 years, reaching to 5 and 10 trillion. The history volatility of the asset as class is no reason to panic, he said. Still, he tempered his optimism and that of the crypto evangelists view of Bitcoin as digital gold, calling it nutty, stating its long-term value is more likely to be $100 than $1,000. Rogov argues that unlike physical gold, Bitcoin is limited to transaction, which makes it vulnerable to a bubble-like collapse. Additionally, the cryptocurrency energy-intensive verification process is vastly less efficient than systems that rely on a trusted central authority like a central bank. Increasing scrutiny. Bitcoin's main benefits of decentralization and transaction anonymity have also made it a favorite currency for a host of illegal activity including money laundering, drug peddling, smuggling, and weapon procurement. This has attracted the attention of powerful regulatory and other government agencies such as the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, the SEC, and even the FBI and Department of Homeland Security. In March 2013, FinCEN issued rules that define virtual currency exchange and administrator as money service business, bringing them within the ambit of government regulation. In May that year, the DHS froze an account of MTGOX, the legacy Bitcoin exchange that was held at Wells Fargo, alleging that it broke anti-money laundering laws, and in August, New York's Department of Financial Services issued subpoenas to 2022 emerging payment companies, many of which handle Bitcoin, asking about their measures to prevent money laundering and ensure consumer protection. Alternative to Bitcoin. Despite its recent issue, Bitcoin's success and growing visibility since its launch has resulted in a number of companies unveiling alternative cryptocurrency such as Litecoin. Litecoin is regarded as Bitcoin's leading rival at present, and it is designed for processing smaller transactions faster. 2. Ripple. Ripple was launched by OpenCoin, a company founded by technology entrepreneur Chris Larsen in 2012. Minchip. Unlike most cryptocurrency, Mindchip is actually the creation of a government institution. Specifically, the Royal Canadian Mint. Minchip is a smart card that holds electronic value and can transfer it securely from one chip to another. Like Bitcoin, Mindchip does not need personal identification. Unlike Bitcoin, it is backed by a physical currency, the Canadian dollar. The future. Some of the limitations that cryptocurrency presently face, such as the fact that one's digital fortune can be erased by a computer crash, or that a virtual vault may be ransacked by a hacker, may be overcome in time through technological advance. What will be harder to surmount is the basic paradox that bedevil cryptocurrencies. The more popular they become, the more regulation and government scrutiny they are likely to attract, which erodes the fundamental premise for their existence. While the number of merchants who accept cryptocurrency has steadily increased, they are still very much in the minority. For cryptocurrency to become more widely used, they have to first gain widespread acceptance among consumers. However, their relative complexity compared to conventional currency will likely deter most people, except for the technologically adept. A cryptocurrency that aspires to become part of the mainstream financial system might have to satisfy widely divergent criteria. It will need to be mathematically complex to avoid fraud and hacker attacks, but easy for consumers to understand. Decentralization, but with adequate consumer safeguards and protection, and preserve user anonymity without being a conduit for tax evasion, money laundering, and other nefarious activity. Should you invest in cryptocurrency? If you are considering investing in cryptocurrency, it might be best to treat your investment in the same way you will treat any other highly speculative venture. In other words, recognize that you run the risk of losing most of your investment, if not all of it. As stated earlier, a cryptocurrency has no intrinsic value apart from what a buyer is willing to pay for it at a point in time. This makes it very susceptible to hawk price swings, which in turn increase the risk of loss for an investor. Bitcoin, for example, plunged from $260 to about $130 within a 6-hour period on April 11, 2013. If you cannot stomach the gain of volatility, look elsewhere for investment that are better suited to you. While opinions continue to be deeply divided about the merit of Bitcoin as an investment, supporters points to its limited supply and growing usage as value driver, while detractors see it just another speculative bubble. It is one debate that a conservative investor will do well to avoid. Conclusion: the emergence of Bitcoin has sparked a debate about its future and that of other cryptocurrencies. Despite Bitcoin's recent its success since its 2009 launch has inspired the creation of alternative cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple. A cryptocurrency that aspires to become part of the mainstream financial system will have to satisfy very divergent criteria. While that possibility looks remote, there is little doubt that Bitcoin's success or failure in dealing with the challenge it faces might determine the fortunes of other cryptocurrency in the years ahead. And this is my end presentation. Will be continue by Rahayu Arsinta.
Okay. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
I will tell you about MariaDB server. MariaDB server is one of the most popular database server in the world. It is made by the original developers of MySQL and guaranteed to stay open source. Notable use include Wikipedia, WordPress.com, and Google. MariaDB turns data into structured information in a wide array of applications, ranging from banking to website. Originally designed as enhanced drop-in replacement for MySQL, MariaDB is used because it is fast, scalable, and robust, with a rich ecosystem of storage engines, plugins, and many others to make it very versatile for a variety of use cases. MariaDB is developed as open source software, and as retelling a database, it provides an SQL interface from accessing data. The latest version of MariaDB also includes GIS and JSON feature. More information can be found the MariaDB knowledge base. For example, MariaDB versus MySQL features, MariaDB versus MySQL compatibility, MariaDB success stories. There is also a good Wikipedia article about MariaDB and the MySQL history. About MariaDB Foundation. The MariaDB Foundation supports continuity and open collaboration in the MariaDB ecosystem. The foundation guarantees that there is a global contact point for collaboration and that the community can always rely upon MariaDB server. The foundation is not profit, incorporated in the Delaware, USA, and is funded by corporate and individual sponsors. The foundation staff support MariaDB server by encouraging adoption, contribution, and distribution of MariaDB server and related open source software, helping new contributors understand the source code and lowering and barriers for new participants. participating in the design of the new features, ensuring the code quality and maintainability of the code base, while the number of contributors is growing. Making sure documentation keep up with the development of new features, porting and packaging MariaDB to different platforms, and operating a system to keep it as widely available as possible. Speaking at event driving adoption, details about the foundation principles, operation, and the board director are available on governance page. More information regarding board meeting minutes can be found here. While the foundation staff do work on the code base and develop MariaDB to some extent, the mission of the foundation is not to develop MariaDB as much as possible, but to empower a large as possible community to be successful in the collaborative MariaDB development. Benefactor sponsor, the MariaDB Foundation is grateful to the following organizations for their substantial support. Platinum sponsor, Alibaba Cloud provide a comprehensive suite of global cloud computing service to power both international customer and Alibaba Group on the e-commerce ecosystem. Alibaba Cloud offer high performance, elastic computing power in the cloud. Tencent Cloud is a secure, reliable, and high-performance cloud compute service provided by Tencent. Tencent is now the largest internet company in China and even Asia. It's providing server service to hundreds of millions of people via its flagship product like QQ and WeChat. Microsoft is the leading platform and productivity company for the mobile first, cloud first world, and its mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to accept more. MariaDB Corporation provides expect support and consulting for MySQL and MariaDB. Monthly program, the originally primary developer of MariaDB was acquired by SkySQL in 2013. And in 2014, SkySQL changed their name to MariaDB Corporation. MariaDB Corporation has the large number of MariaDB experts to contributor. MariaDB provides a subscription service and download with additional enterprise feature. ServiceNow allows employees to work the way they want to, not how software dictates they have to. And customer can get what they need when they need it. Gold sponsor. Visma provides business software, outsourcing service, e-commerce solution, retail IT solution, and IT-related development and consultants. Visma.com. DBS is a leading financial service group in Asia with over 280 brands across 18 markets. Headquartered and listed in Singapore, DBS has a growing presence in the three key ASEAN axis to grow: Greater China, Southeast Asia, and South Asia. The bank capital position, as well as AA and AA1 credit ratings, is among the highest in Asia Pacific. silver sponsor. Automatic.com, distributor company behind WordPress.com, WooCommerce, Jetpack, SimpleNote, Longreads, Vaultpress, Akismet, Gravatar, CrowdSignal, CloudUp, Tumblr, and more. Other sponsor: Persona.com. Persona is an American company based in Durham and developer of a number of open source software projects for MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, and RockDB user. GaleraCulture.com. Codership is the company behind Gallery Cluster, a true multi-master cluster based on the synchronous replication. Codership provide development and consulting service on Galera Cluster to ensure high availability and performance. That's enough. Thank you for your attention. Next, Rahayu.
Okay, hello all.
Hello.
On this occasion,
Hello.
I want to tell you about UI UX. UI design and UX design are two of the most often confused and conflated terms in a web and app design. And understandably so, they are usually placed together in a single term. UI UX design, and viewed from the surface they seem to be described the same things. It's often hard to find solid description of the two that don't descend too far into jargon, but fear not. What follows is an easy to digest premise understand. By the end on this article have a good understanding. What is UI design? The UI design is stand for user interface. The user interface in the graphical layout of an application is consistent of the buttons users click on, the text they read, the image sliders, the text entry files, and all rest of the times. The user interacts with this include screen layout, transition interface animation, and very single micro interaction. Any sort of visual element, interaction, or animation must all be designed. This job falls to UI designers. They decide what the application is going to look like. They have to choose color schema and button shapes, the width of lines, and the fonts used for text. UI designers create the look and feel of an application's user interface. UI designers are graphic designers. They are concerned with aesthetics. It is up to them to make sure the application interface is attractive, visually simulating and theme appropriately to match the purpose and or personality of the app. And they need to make sure every single visual element feels animated, both aesthetically and in a purpose. What is UX design? UX stands for user experience. A user's experience of the app is determined by how they interact with it. Is the experience smooth and intuitive, or clunky and confusing? Does navigating the app feel logical, or does it feel arbitrary? Does interacting with the app give people the sense that they're efficiently accomplishing that the text they say out to achieve, or does it feel like a struggle? User experience is determined by how easy or difficult it is to interact with the user interface elements that the UI designers have created. So UX designers are also concerned with an application user interface. And this is why people get confused about the difference between the two. But whereas UI designers are tasked with deciding how the user interface will look. UX designers are in charge of determining how the user interface operates. They determine the structure of the interface and the functionally how it is organized and how all the parts relate to the one another. In short, they design how the interface works. If it works will and feels seamless, the user will be have a good experience. But if navigation is complicated or unintuitive, then a lousy user experience is likely. UX designers work to avoid the second scenario. There are also great amount of interactive analysis involved in UX design. UX designers will create wireframe rendering of their interface interactions and get user feedback. They all integrate this into their design. It is important for UX designer to have a holistic understanding of how users prefer to interact with their application, how they work together. So a UX designer decide how the user interface work while the UI designer decide how the user interface looks. This is a very collaborative process and the two design terms tend to work closely together. As the UX team is working out the flow of the app, how all of the buttons navigate you through your attacks, and how the interface efficiently serves up the information users need. The UI team is working on how all of these interface elements will appear on screen. Let's say at some point in the design process it decide that extra buttons need to be added to a gift screen. This will change how the buttons will need to be organized and could require changing their shape or size. The UX team will determine the best way to lay out the buttons while the UI teams adapt their design to fit the new layout. Constant communication and collaboration between UI and UX designers help to assure that the final user interface looks as good as it can, while also operating efficiently and intuitively. Research is key. Research is vital for both UI and UX designer. It is important for both disciplines together as much good information as possible to assist them in crafting appropriate design, and both follow a similar approach. But will research what users want, what they expect from application of the sort being developed. This research is often iterative, involving usability sessions where real users will interact with scaled versions of certain functional or visual design being tested to determine whether the design are moving down the proper path. Feedback is integrated with each iteration. This is in enough gener this is involve generating low fidelity prototypes like wireframe renderings of interface elements in order to gauge a user's response strictly to the functionally being tested. This can also involve visual prototypes and A/B tests of different possible versions of the look and feel to the interface and determine which one user prefer. In all cases, research helps guide the steps designers take as they build their contributions. However, the information UI and UX designers are looking for is very different. Research in UI designs, UI designers need to make sure the visual language they choose fits the class of application they're writing. They're trying to predict user experience. If your team is design and travel app, it is important to research how the other travel apps have been developed in the past. Which ones work, which ones did not. There are design lessons to be learned from the work others have done before. Research may indicate the people prefer outline icons instead of bold shapes. This is a visual shorthand that people are comfortable with and enjoy. UI designers will then dual the in-crop to the lesson. Research for UX design is particularly interested in user expectation. All of the experience and interaction that users have had with every application they've used in their life have helped set their expectation for how interfaces are supposed to work. If a UX designer is not intimately familiar with this expectation, they could inadvertently design an interface interaction that seems logical to them but breaks commonly accepted conventions. Users don't like when interfaces behave very differently than they were expecting, and this could negatively impact their experience. UI UX that they different disclaim the work is harmony. UI UI and UX design involve very different skill sets, but they are integral to each other's success. A beautiful design cannot save an interface that's clunky and confusing to negative, and brilliant, perfectly appropriate user experience can be sunk by bad visual interface design that make using the app unpleasant, but both UI and UX design need to be flawless execute and perfectly aligned with pre-existing users' expectation to create an excellent user interface or experience, and when the star aligned the results can be astounding. As an example, most people are comfortable with the idea that you click twice on file to open it and once to select it. This is an interface behavior that has existed almost as long there have been graphical user interface. That's enough for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's judge and meeting this time. See you next time.
See you.